is excellent. It's always nerve-wracking when we do these things just to make sure that people can actually hear us and that the technology is going to work for us. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us. This is a class that we've been looking forward to for a long time, and I can tell that you have too. We've got people here from Cyprus and Mexico and Africa and Egypt, which I guess is in Africa, and lots of different places. I know some of you are up in the middle of the night to be here, so we will try very hard to be entertaining to keep you awake. So this is 10 things every aviation professional should be doing with LinkedIn, and these are things that are kind of advanced techniques. Some of the interesting things about the aviation industry are that it is so relationship-based, and LinkedIn is so perfect for a demographic. So we really appreciate you being here and caring enough to really get better at this, because I think that's good for the industry as well, for each of us individually. So please do two things. First, make sure that you have a pen. There are going to be some things that you want to write down as we go through this. And second, you want to make sure that your cell phone is turned off and that you've eliminated distractions for the hour. We're going to be going through a lot of material, and there are two kinds of people that go to these kinds of webinars. The first kind just kind of go as entertainment, and they kind of skip through it and do their thing and continue to do whatever they normally do in their day, and they're checking Facebook and checking their email and all that stuff. And they don't get as much out of it as the people that really eliminate the distractions and look for 3 things that they can do, or 5 things or 10 things that they can add to their calendar that they're going to actually do differently from this point forward. So I'm Paula Williams.
And I'm John Williams.
And we are ABCI. We do we do marketing consulting exclusively for the aviation industry, and that is a market that's really pretty interesting. And my role is kind of to be the extrovert in this relationship. I'll probably be doing most of the talking today. But John has a very important role as a social media introvert.
I suppose.
Exactly. And, John actually only uses LinkedIn. That's the only social media that he does use. And he's actually the target demographic. If you look at aviation decision makers, they are 40-plus, male, former military, skeptical, not early adopters of some technology, but avid users of others. So, that's one thing. And another thing that John's going to be doing also is moderating questions. So he'll be answering your questions as we go through this. All right. So I just wanted to really quickly tell you a quick story that kind of sets the right frame of mind for this session. And we show you the pictures of us in suits and everything else. LinkedIn is a social media, although some people call it Facebook in a suit. It is a social media, and the reason that you are seeing us with our Harleys here is because this is us being social. We are actual people who don't always wear suits. And one thing that we've noticed, I know some of you guys are motorcycle people as well, just from knowing you a little bit in the past. When you're out on a Harley, everybody is curious, helpful, friendly, non-pushy. There's something about that personality that I really want to capture, because that really depicts what we're trying to do with social media. So, John, you have a story about one time when we were out.
Yes, we had taken 5 weeks off and drove about 7,500 miles. Well, before I go into that, the lady you see in the picture does not really have water hitting her head.
Those are some friends of ours. That's John and I and our friends Don and Shelley.
Yeah. Anyway, we were on the last third of this long drive in Texas, and we were heading back to Dallas and stopped into a small town for some fuel. And no sooner had we pulled up to the pump than another Harley pulled up to a pump right beside us, and we started talking. And we ended up taking pictures of each other and sending them to each other, and we both went inside to pay for the fuel at the same time. And the lady behind the pump or behind the counter said, "So where are you all going?" And he and I looked at each other and said, "Well, we're going to Salt Lake City, and these folks are going to Louisiana." And she said, "But you look like you know each other." I said, "We actually just met."
Exactly. And that's really the advantage that you have with LinkedIn, is you kind of get to know people, you get to know some things that you have in common, and if you can keep that attitude of just being curious and open and friendly and helpful, that is so much more effective. The people that are really, really good at this, you'll notice in business, in person, and also on LinkedIn and other places, are the kind of people that can stay relaxed and open and curious. So you really want to keep that attitude, whether or not you're wearing your Harley gear. I wish we had an aviation example for that, but the Harley example seems to work best. So, all right, enough fun. Let's get into the data. Now, this is from a social media survey that we did of aviation professionals, and a lot of these are C-level folks and so on. So how often do you personally access LinkedIn? And you can see, of the responses that we got, almost 50% access LinkedIn daily or more. And this was the highest of any social media that there is. People actually do access Facebook more frequently, but more of the people that responded to the survey are active on LinkedIn. So, that's one piece of data. Here's another piece of data, and we're going to overlay these in just a second. How often does your company use LinkedIn for marketing? And, there's a big group of these that you can see only access LinkedIn sometimes, seldom, or never. And that's over 50% if you add those two numbers up. So, that really gives us an opportunity, and I'll show you this overlaid. In marketing, our main goal is to find an opportunity and fill it, right? Or find a need and fill it. So you have all of these people who are accessing LinkedIn daily that are not being served as much as they'd like to. So, you look at this, all of these people are advertising seldom or never, and they're missing all of that opportunity. So, this really is something that we want to look at from the perspective, and when I say advertising, I don't necessarily mean paid advertising, I just mean promoting your brand and making those connections on LinkedIn.
Just to interrupt for a second, we're getting questions about, are we going to receive a copy?
Oh, right, exactly. Thank you for that. So, yes, this session is being recorded, and we are going to tell you at the end how you can get a copy of the recording and also of the written workbook for this session that will have all of these charts and graphs and everything in it. And also, we're going to get into some detail. We're not going to show you every button to push and every mouse to click because we only have an hour. So, the written materials will be really helpful because they will show you how we do some of the things that we're going to be doing when we get to that point. So, thank you for that question. All right, so back to this. There's obviously a huge opportunity here in LinkedIn to promote your company, promote your brand, and all of those things, and we'll be talking about the techniques to do that. Right, so questions about who's using LinkedIn?
Yeah, what level of people use LinkedIn? Well, I can answer that one sort of from personal experience. I had the occasion to meet the CEO of a very large manufacturing organization in aviation at a restaurant, his request, and we had not met each other. So, as I discovered later, he did exactly what I did, which was go to LinkedIn, look him up, and discover that what he looked like, a little bit about the man. And so when we walked into the restaurant, we already knew each other. We just looked, we recognized each other, walked right up, shook hands, and went on with the meeting. So it was really nice to be able to do that.
Right, and another great example of that is Richard Branson, Virgin, all of the Virgin companies, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Pacific, and so forth, uses LinkedIn pretty extensively. He's, I would say, publishing at least daily on LinkedIn, and has a network of over 500 people, probably 5,000 people, but they stopped counting at 500. So.
You could.